College football on Fox. Klatt with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. He's still got warning track power, Dunaway.
I saw that. So good.
Warning track power. He thought it was out for a minute.
The plate was back further than it is in a game.
That's what Gus said. I don't know if Gus was just taking a solid
he was right.
Since Gus almost died, Klatt had to give Gus mouth to mouth at the end of the Penn State win. The Indiana win over Penn State. Yeah, and that was his payback. He was like, I'll tell him the plate's further back for you, my friend. How much further back
definitely
was it?
Did. It was probably 5 yards.
Okay. That's the difference between warning track and a homer.
Yeah, I thought I got it.
Yeah,
Gosh,
I could tell. I could tell. You were posting.
And guys, I know this sounds ridiculous as a 43-year-old. I was bitterly disappointed.
Well, truthfully, I'm going to ask a question. I counted like 17 balls on the ground, I think, behind you. It wasn't one swing, right? Why not keep swinging until were you just out of gas?
No, I mean, I hit the wall like 3 times and left. So like they just showed a couple of swings. I was trying. Trust me. I took probably 30 all-out swings, and my rib cage was feeling it the next day.
Like a friend of mine, Doug Bell, who now works with PGA Radio, and then I stole it from him in local TV, like you do in local TV, of playing the best holes in Alabama. We'd go shoot that for local TV.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, a lot of birdies and pars, man.
Right.
I didn't miss many putts in that thing. I'd keep shooting until I made one.
Here we are in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah. I thought maybe at this. I hit this drive perfectly. Now I'm just gonna cut it right off of that lake. And oh, look at that! I've got 8 feet for birdie.
A 25-yard bender in the hole.
Yeah,
man, look at that.
It's weird. These holes are easy.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine that was watching the games at the house, we had that one on one of the screens, and he said, "I know Klatt from your show. I know Klatt played minor league ball. Did he ever hit any home runs in the minors?" And I don't know the answer to that. Did you?
Yeah, I hit a few.
Okay,
I hit a few.
Okay, good.
I was supposed to hit more, which meant that I had to go back to school.
That's why Klatt is now on Fox. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw the launch angle, though, man. You had the launch angle and everything going on that swing. It was a good-looking swing.
I'm a better golfer than I am baseball player at this point, so I was a little under it. And I got to tell you, the machine only being like 60, 62 miles an hour, I just couldn't generate like the exit velo, as they say, with a wood bat. And I haven't swung a bat in probably 10 years, so. Oh, man. But, yeah, bitterly disappointed.
Okay.
Oh, so really, you have not swung a bat in 10 years, and you still were that good on Saturday? I mean, on Friday whenever you recorded that?
It's like riding a bike.
It's fine-tuned athlete like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, so in that game.
Your fans already don't like me. You're setting me up for these smug answers like this.
Well, we want to talk about your bank account. That's what we do with Clay Travis. That's why our fans don't like Clay.
Oh, yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
It's hard to pry.
Mine isn't anywhere near Clay's.
It's hard to pry it out of Clay, though. You never know if Clay's got $1 million or not.
No, it's not. He's more than willing to offer that up.
Yeah.
Oh,
his quote last week was, "I'm down here in my $5 million Gulf Coast home. We're putting in some Wi-Fi and new walls and stuff, and I'm sorry if the connection's bad." That's how he dropped it in.
Yes.
Of course he did. Of course he did. I keep bringing him on because that's the only thing that your fans, at least I'm not Clay. Am I right?
Yeah,
although he likes he's more Southern than me, so maybe they tolerate it more so. He's like the drunk uncle that you like tolerate at Thanksgiving, and I'm like the outsider that comes in from the north, and you're like, get out of here.
Yeah, carpetbagger.
Get out of here, Yankee.
Hey, playing football right now, who's better, USC or Oregon? This USC team that showed you a different pitch this past week, or this Oregon team who showed us a different pitch when they won at Iowa, too? Both of them have been impressive against Iowa. Who's the better team right now? Who's playing better football?
I think Oregon's still the better team. They're probably more sound. I think they'll be better at the line of scrimmage, although I got to give USC a ton of credit. Like, defensively, they played really well in the second half. Held Iowa scoreless. And I know like Iowa's not the best offensive football team, but they were a team that was going to specifically threaten USC in areas where they had struggled earlier in the year, namely stopping the run and more in particular, kind of a straight ahead power running attack on the interior. And USC held up decently well against that, as opposed to, like, let's say the Illinois game or the Notre Dame game, or even Emmett Johnson from Nebraska was able to get after them a little bit in the run game. So I think that this USC team has taken a trajectory that has been slower than people wanted it to be. However, it is a trajectory and it is progressing. They lost small last year, a lot of one-score games, and this year they're winning small. And that's something, and winning those one-score games, I think, is the right trajectory for them. They have the number one recruiting class in the country, at least to some outlets, that is coming in next year. That's going to be a good football team. This week, however, Oregon is better. They're better at the line of scrimmage. I do believe that they're more complete, and I think they're actually playing really good football and complementary football. They've been able to win in different areas: run game, pass game, defense, and playing up there is not easy, guys. I know Indiana went up there and won, but that is not an easy place to play.
Is this a must-win now? I mean, Alabama has played themselves into a situation where Alabama fans have to start worrying about these games, Klatt. And I'm going to ask you about two of them. But is this a must-win in your mind for Oregon? If they are a two-loss team, do you think they have some issues getting into the playoffs?
Yeah, like I think every two-loss team. Let's say Notre Dame at two losses. I don't think we can just put them in, because what if Miami has two losses? There's all these head-to-heads that are odd now because of Oklahoma's win over Alabama. And I don't think anybody can feel real comfortable unless they were the hot team late. And if you're the hot team late and you're getting those big wins late, then I think that's what gives you confidence. So the teams that lose late, if Oregon were to lose, you're putting yourself at risk. So to feel comfortable, yes, you've got to win this game. But does that mean that they have to? I don't know that they have to. That being said, it's a foregone conclusion. It's 100%. If they win at 11-1, they're going to be in.
Well, I think another team that you have to, at least record-wise right now, worry about is Michigan. You just saw them. Now they're going to be without Justice Haynes. I know it's dangerous to say there is
and Marshall.
Yeah, and they've got a quarterback that is just not throwing the ball very well right now. They're a mess of a team, honestly.
Yeah, it's so odd because, and I talked about this in my show that came out today. They're really young. I don't know if those that don't really follow Michigan understand how young they are. They got 6 freshmen starting on offense. That's a lot. 6 is a lot. And a lot of the key contributors, even late in that game on the defensive side, are young players. Jordan Young has a huge PBU, pass breakup. He's a true freshman safety. So there's a lot of young players that are playing for Michigan. When that happens, and this is not an excuse, this is just a point. When that happens, you ride the roller coaster of inconsistency. You guys know that. We've all been around, football for a long time. And you ride those peaks and those valleys. And it's so fascinating because Saturday for Michigan felt like really high peaks and really low valleys. For stretches of that game, some of those young players were playing as well as anybody in the country. Andrew Marsh on the outside, the wide receiver, the true freshman, was ridiculous. He had over, 11, 12 catches, almost 200 yards. Bryce Young played his best 2.5 quarters of football of his career. And then he played the worst 8 minutes of his career also in the same game. So here we go, and it's like, what are you going to do? I made this analogy. It's like you go to the Incredicoaster at California Adventureland, and once that buckle is in, it's like, hey, you're riding the roller coaster. All you can do is not throw up. 3, 2, 1, let's go. And that's what Michigan fans are on right now. Really high highs, really low lows. So is it sustainable? I don't know. At some point, that thing better smooth out, and they better get more consistent because they can't play like they did against Northwestern and feel like they're going to beat Ohio State for the 5th straight time. They're not going to be able to do that. By the way, second time in the last 25 years that a team has been -5 in the turnover margin and missed 2 field goals and won the game.
It's hard to do.
Boise State did that to BYU in 2016, and it's the only time in the last 25 years that that's happened.
First time in a baseball stadium, but I don't know if we kept up with that.
I saw a team -3 in turnovers and miss a field goal lose their game in Tuscaloosa.
Lose their game.
Yeah.
And that's what you normally see, you know, when you do that. This was my fear for Alabama in this game, is that it was a bad matchup, and Oklahoma turned into Iowa. They just rolled in and they were like, well, we're just going to win with defense and special teams.
They did.
And then they did, though, by the way. You know, you get the pick six, the short field turns into a field goal. The special teams was outstanding. Ryan fumbles that punt return. And it's like, okay, you know, like this is not going well. And my fear for Alabama, they're a great team. We know that. They're a really, really good football team. But the problem is that they have one thing that has to be great. And if it's not, they don't win a big game against a really, really good football team. It has to be great. If they're not throwing the football at an elite level and not turning it over, they're in jeopardy. And that's why, you know, I got a bunch of flack. Not really. It is what it is. I went on Pardon My Take, and they were asking me, like, who can win the national championship? And I did not mention Alabama. But this is the reason, guys. The way that game just played out is the reason. Now, you could say, like, well, no, that's turnovers, Joel. I understand that, but there's no answer if there's a problem in the passing game. Any problem for any amount of time. There's no other answer. You know, whereas teams that have answers and that can shift and adjust are the teams that are going to be able to go through the playoff. So that's why I don't think Bama, unless they figure out some ability to either run the football, play completely dominant defense, although their defense was really good against Oklahoma, you know, I don't see them getting through the gauntlet of those types of games in order to win a national championship when they're this one-dimensional.
Kalen DeBoer said this post-game, and I was sitting in the post-game, and I knew instantly when he said it, I was going to ask you this question. It was only Ty Simpson's 10th start, and Coach DeBoer was talking about throwing the ball away. You know, punting is okay, and he's not talking about just throwing interceptions. He's talking about getting sacked and causing the fumble and things like that. How hard is that to learn when you can make throws? Ty makes some unbelievable NFL throws. How hard is it to give up on a play to learn that as a quarterback? That seems to be very difficult if you're a competitor.
Yes, and the idea that I was just talking about with Michigan about an experience applies for Ty as well. You know, he and Bryce Underwood have basically started the same amount of games. And so there is going to be that inconsistency. And he did make a couple of mistakes. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not elite. And some of the throws he makes, guys, off the charts. Like, take him first in the draft, off the charts. They are incredible throws with anticipation and accuracy, on time and on target. He's phenomenal. There's no doubt. What you're talking about, though, becomes more difficult, in particular when that player, consciously or subconsciously, understands that element of the team is the catalyst to success, right? So this goes part and parcel back to this one-dimensional offense type of thing. Whether Ty knows it or not, or consciously is thinking about this or not, you know, if they're not successful in the passing game, they're not going to win. They're not going to move the football. They can't run it. They cannot run the football. And so that leads the quarterback to take more chances, hold on to it, want it more. And then you got that competitive nature. And you can write notes, you can think about it, you can emphasize it. I'm going to throw the football away. I'm going to protect the football. I'm going to do. Then you get into the game. You can't run the football. It's a tight game. You know that the only way to move the ball is to throw. And as a competitor, that's what you try to do. So really difficult to play within yourself and within the system, and to live to play another down when you have a real innate understanding that you're the only reason that they're going to move the football. I think that's really tough.
Is Alabama's defense what it seems to be? Like, when you watch that on film, I know Oklahoma's offense have been struggling already, but I mean that 212 yards, Klatt, in a major conference game.
Impressive.
That's crazy.
It's really impressive. And like I said, I thought that the defense The defense has gotten a lot better from what we saw early in the year. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yes.
They have developed and become a much better defense. I don't know what OU is on the offensive side. Like, they weren't doing anything against Tennessee in that first half, and yet we're up 16-10 largely because of mistakes Tennessee made. They got a defensive score in that game. I don't know if they have pared back on their offense, knowing that, like, similar to what Iowa used to do, it's like, well, we're just not going to take chances, knowing that our defense is very good. So is this a philosophy from them? Mateer has not been the same since his hand injury. All that being said, there weren't a lot of offenses in college football that were going to have a ton of success against that Bama defense. But this is when you have to take a step back. And if you're Kalen DeBoer, and you've got to look up and you've got to evaluate with, I think, clear eyes, what is our defense? Are they this good? Because if they are, let me tell you what you can't do. Expose them. And they were exposed on Saturday, not by the opposing offense, but by the situations that they were put in by their own offense. If you look at the best defenses in the country right now, their offenses protect them. Namely, and people always hate when I bring them up, Ohio State.
Yeah.
They're seeing some of the fewest snaps in the country. Guys, remember, I talked about this when I was talking about Tennessee, and the nature with which Ohio State is playing is going to lead their defense to see like a game or two worth of snaps less than other defenses around the country. So if you're Alabama, you've got to evaluate, all right, who are we, where are we going, and how are we going to get there? And if they do that, and they believe that this defense is as good as what we all see on Saturday, then offensively, I'm not saying that you're not going to throw the ball, because you are, but your quarterback better change the way that he plays in terms of putting the ball in harm's way.
Yeah, to Klatt's point,
interceptions.
To Klatt's point, 51 snaps for Oklahoma. My gosh, you hold the team to 51 snaps. I don't know how you lose the game other than what you said. Yeah.
Must-win game now for Alabama at Auburn. Texas and Georgia. I've seen Georgia twice in person now. And both those games, I walked away telling people, man, that team's not the same up front defensively. They don't have that dog in them like they have in the past. Yeah. And then on Saturday, wow.
It showed up.
Yeah. It looked like old Georgia there, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Now, how much of that is the fact that Texas is just really bad up front? Because they are bad up front. This is not a team that is protected well. Florida got after Arch. A lot of teams have gotten after Arch, and they can't run the football at all. That's the reason they can't pass protect, is because there's no conflict for the defensive front seven, and it has been a key for Sark his entire career to have a really solid run game. Guys, when he was there in Bama, wasn't it with Najee? Right?
Yeah.
He's had Najee. Going all the way back to Washington, he had Bishop Sankey, who was really, like, he's always had an excellent run game. And it's been the understated version or element, I should say, in the offense to keep them two-dimensional, balanced, and allow them to protect and then throw the football down the field off of play action. Without that, they've just turned into a drop-back team that can't protect. And Arch, even though he played, I got to say, Arch actually played pretty good in that game. I thought he played pretty well in that game outside of the interception throw, but he brings them all the way back. It's 14-10, and they're doing everything they need to overcome some of the penalties and mistakes that they have had, and they've got all the momentum. And then, guys, they got the stop. It's 4th and 1 at the 35. That's a stop. That is a punt 99.9% of the time, and Kirby goes for it. That's Kirby's superpower right there, is that this dude has an amazing feel for the moment. He trusts his players. His players trust him. Gunnar Stockton is an absolute war daddy in big moments. 4th down against Tennessee, now 4th down against Texas. 4th and 1 at the 35? That is not a go. There's not an analytics book in the country that would tell you to go for that. Maybe I'm wrong, but my goodness, finally Texas has some momentum on offense, and you're going to give them the ball at the 35, and that ensuing drive could take the lead? No way. That's not a go. And he goes. And then he goes again on 4th down, and Gunner draws him off with the snap. Then he's got the onside kick. And you go from Arch getting all the momentum, scoring with about, 5:20 left in the third quarter. It's 14-10, and he didn't touch the ball again until like the 8.5-minute mark of the fourth quarter, down 28-10. Wild, man. I'm telling you. It reminded me of the way that the Dodger players spoke about Dave Roberts after the World Series, when they were saying, like, Dave trusts us, so we trust him. You know, these Georgia players, you can tell, trust Kirby Smart, and they fight really hard on the field because they know their coach is fighting for them behind the scenes. And you might not like it, and you might not like his style, and he rubs people the wrong way. Hell, he rubs me the wrong way sometimes, and I understand that. But you cannot argue with the fact that there is something different with the way that that team plays and approaches situational football in big moments. And I think that that's due to their head coach. Every team takes on the nature of their head coach, and this team certainly takes on his nature. That's the best team in the SEC. I don't care if they play for the SEC championship game or not. I don't care if they win the SEC or not. That's a token at this point, because that team that we saw at home beat up Texas 35-10 is the best team coming out of that conference.
One reason you say that is A&M has played the bottom of the conference, and they did again Saturday, and they were down 30-3 to the bottom of the conference Saturday.
Yeah. I'm starting to really lose trust in A&M.
I mean, it's wild.
It's not going to – they're like a drunk chasing a balloon next to a cliff.
But, okay, a drunk chasing a balloon next to a cliff. Okay.
Wow.
That's a line from an old Rick Riley article.
Okay, there you go. Wow. But, I mean, it could have been worse. Like, South Carolina dropped – they could have had 5 picks in the first half. Easy, Klatt. Easy 5 picks in the first half. So, I think you've seen that Marcel Reed is there, as good as he was in the second half. I think ultimately, as an A&M fan, that's got to scare the heck out of you, that you saw that Marcel Reed in living color for 30 minutes. That Marcel Reed gets you beat against any good team.
That's exactly right. And the thing that wins in the playoffs is consistency and defense. We know this time and time again every year. Guys, look at the last 4 national champions. Georgia was the number 1 defense, then the number 4 defense. Michigan was the number 1 defense. Ohio State was the number 1 defense. You got to play great defense that allows you to play with consistency, and you can't turn the football over. So these quarterbacks that have a propensity to turn the football over, they will get beat at some point. So I understand A&M is undefeated, and they've done some incredible things and deserve, their rankings and accolades. But it's not a team that I trust to kind of go all the way. They're going to line up against somebody, and they have not been tested. Now, you can say Ohio State hasn't been tested either, and I think that that's a fair argument, even though they did play Texas. Now, we'll see A&M against Texas in Austin the last week of the season. But that being said, like, after that game, I think that you can credit the resiliency of coming back and the calm nature of coming back and putting to bed what happened in the first half and succeeding in the second. You can certainly give that its due. There's no doubt. And Reed at his best is very good and can probably beat anybody in the country. The problem is it's like the duck hook that I have, with my 3-wood. It's in the bag. Mm-hmm. And so, we now know what's in the bag for Texas A&M. Like, that's there. And you can't unsee that once it's seen.
And the problem with that duck hook is you hit it at the worst possible. You hit it when there's trouble all the way down the left side. Right. Yeah.
When the pressure creeps up, when it's tight, that's when generally it's the hardest to be free. It's easy to be free when it's candidly, like South Carolina 30-3. You got nothing to lose at that point. You're going to cut it loose. But South Carolina 0-0 in the first half. You're not really focused. You kind of like tight. We're just trying to go out there, and that's when you see the duck hook. Don't love that.
I keep a running on my 3 names I got to put on the National Coach of the Year ballot. Right now, my 3 names are Mike Elko. I don't know if I should take him off after that conversation. Joey McGuire at Texas Tech and Jake Dickert at Wake Forest. Those three guys. I mean, Dickert was picked 16th at Wake Forest, and they're 7-3 with Robbie Ashford as their quarterback. And then McGuire gets the reputation. I don't understand this, that Texas Tech bought this roster. And I always argue back at people, everyone has bought this roster. It's what everybody does now. So he's got to get some credit.
Oregon didn't buy their roster.
That's right.
Ohio State didn't buy their roster.
That's right.
By the way, that's part of the coach's responsibility now.
Yeah.
So, shouldn't we be weighing in roster construction on the coach of the year? Like, if you can build a roster, which he did, regardless of resources. I mean, Ohio State had resources last year. Everyone has resources.
That's right.
You think Georgia's not paying players? I know Kirby's like, everybody else just paying players. We play physical. Okay, Kirby, like, you're not paying players. Like, stop it. That's when it's like Kirby can rub me the wrong. Some of these guys, they just want to play physical. We play physical here. Some guys just want to check. What are you talking about? As if like you're so unique. Anyways, I digress. So part of roster construction is the coach's responsibility. So you can give Joey a lot of credit for doing that. He also hired Sheil Wood, the defensive coordinator from Houston, and he came over to Texas Tech. The improvement that they've had on defense has been staggering. I like Joey McGuire in there. I think that Curt Cignetti losing his quarterback and coming back, it's like a rolling 2-year coach of the year. I think you can certainly look at Curt Cignetti. I think Clark Lee should get a little love for what he's been able to do at Vanderbilt and build at Vanderbilt. All of those. I think that I struggle with anything at ACC. It's such a bad league.
It is. Yeah. I don't even know.
So I just like you mentioned anything from the ACC, and I'm just like, ugh, gross.
I know. Oh, you could see Clemson and Louisville coming Friday night, couldn't you? Clemson, they're out of it. They got nothing to play for, but they got this great roster. And, all of a sudden.
I picked Clemson to win the national championship.
I know.
So from my standpoint, watching Dabo jump into the arms of his assistant as they go 5-5, it just like makes my blood boil. I'm like, oh, what are we doing?
All right. Were you done? I thought
I'm
you had
done,
one more.
yes.
Okay, I thought you had one more. The Fox Big New Kickoff is Rutgers at Ohio State. You'll see a lot of Ohio State the next. Do y'all have the Big Ten championship? I forget who's got it now. Or is that NBC?
We do. We do
Okay.
this week. So we've got 3 left. Obviously, the game next week, Michigan and Ohio State, and then the Big Ten title game, which could be.
I mean, it should be Indiana, Ohio State undefeated is what it should be.
And it'll be incredible. And after last week, I think that it's pretty safe to say with Reed struggles and unfortunately Simpson losing that game, that's going to be your Heisman Trophy. It's like Mendoza, Julian saying for the Big Ten title, the number 1 seed, and the Heisman Trophy, which is pretty incredible. That'll be fun.
It's got all those things. I mean, he's absolutely right about that. So 3 straight Ohio State games for Klatt as he's got Rutgers.
That's what I do.
I know.
You don't play the Big Ten championship game at noon, though, right? Is it at noon as well?
No, that's a primetime affair. So we wait. SEC's at 3:30, and then we go and at 8.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I remember Gus being able to stay up late for the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be home by the time the sun sets.
I'm almost certain Big 12 plays at noon.
Yep.
And the SEC plays at 3:30, and then ACC and Big Ten play in primetime. But it's like, who's going to watch the ACC game?
I mean, really, y'all will destroy that one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that'll be great.
And first 1-2 matchup since 2006, I think, right? Something like that. In the regular
we've never
season?
had it in a champ game because we had those. In fact, I've never even called the last year was the first year with no divisions. So all the Big Ten champ games I called were always like Michigan, Purdue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just the imbalance of that conference from the division standpoint. That sounded like a very disparaging.
No. I mean,
we know what you mean. It was somebody in Northwestern who
the Big Ten West was awful.
Was having a good season, but
or Wisconsin. We had Wisconsin and Northwestern and
Iowa
Purdue and Iowa and great. Like good for them. Heck, that was my career in a nutshell. Like we were winning the Big 12 North at 7-4.
That's right.
All right, big new kick. Rutgers at Ohio State on Saturday. We won't ask Klatt about the SEC Saturday schedule. It is atrocious, but we don't have time for that, Klatt. We don't have time. We don't have time. Sorry.
I wish it was better.
I
We
do
all
too.
do.
It's
I think
atrocious.
That's the thing.
It's
I don't
coming.
even have to
It is
rip on it. We all
atrocious.
just wish it was better.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
I hope.
I believe.
I hope so.
I believe that part of it will be we're going to schedule nothing but conference games in November. That's what I believe.
Let's hope, because that is an
I
atrocious
would hope
Saturday.
so. I think that would be better. And once they go to 9, and it's linked up, at least from a numbers standpoint, with the Big Ten, I've been pushing really hard behind the scenes. We need an SEC Big Ten, challenge or agreement, whether it's every team or just the top 10 in each league. Like, we need to save a spot in the non-conference every year that's not scheduled 10 years out, and we need to make great matchups that we, the fans, want to see and are good for the sport. And those two conferences can do it, and they should do it, and that's what I'm pushing for.
All right, so see that Saturday morning, 11 o'clock Central, noon Eastern on the Big Noon Kick from the Horseshoe. Thank you very much, Klatt. Have a great week.
You got it. Have a great one, guys.
Joel Klatt with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline.